From my late 20s, I started to experience some difficulty reading some print, and although I'd always had to get a page about a centimetre from my face to read it, now some of those things were getting so blurry I couldn't read them reliably. I was slowly and then more rapidly losing my reading seeing ability and my seeing ability, which helped me to get around. By the time I was 34 years old, I was totally blind. I'd been training with a long white cane for about 4 years, and I really had no way to read print or to produce print, and that's pretty important for most of the jobs I had the capacity to do. In the early times of looking for a job, I really had to screw up my courage, and the inner determination I had to be supported by being brave. Putting myself out there, saying that I could do a job, which I generally understood, but a lot of that job I would have no idea about. What got me through, I think, is the general commitment to getting a job and to using my skills, and the self-belief that I had the ability to do it and that it was possible to be done. So when I got to my final job interview before I was appointed by the City of Salisbury, I was in a place where I had a lot of confidence in what I was offering, and I no longer had to struggle with just being brave to turn up to the interview and put on my best face. I think I was already in a place where I was ready to be employed, but it had taken quite a few months to get to that point. And Interwork helped me work through the options of a screen reader program that I could use and other related support. So that screen reader program allows me to read a Word document like that. This little Brono Apex, when we first purchased this with Interwork, we paid over $9,000. Before I had this, I really struggled with audio cassette recorders, that sort of thing, to keep notes at meetings I was at. Now I can do it in a breeze and people don't even know I'm doing it. The other great thing was that Interwork would offer the employer a heap of other support, not to do with getting technology, but actually, if we needed it, and we soon found we did, paying the salary of someone to help me through some of the really big difficulties in those days of getting access to print. And that's when I came across Joanne Odegaard for the first time. So she was paid some extra hours by Interwork to identify the sort of information I needed and how to actually get it to me. Much of what she does now is, for example, taking photographs for me, which I put into my PowerPoint presentations about some of the examples of good and bad access in the City of Salisbury, so that sighted people in the training sessions I do will be able to have a professional display of information as well as pictures. Many internet sites are not easily accessible for someone with a screen reader. There's a heap which are, but when I have ones which are not, she helps navigate me through them and find and bookmark the sort of places I need to be. Over the last few years, after Council had appointed me to a full-time permanent position, my role started to become being a mentor to people in other councils in South Australia, other councils which were starting the same journey which this council had begun in the late 1990s, where we lobby for much better conditions, information and funding to enable us to do our job for our community much better.